See? Doesn't this look kind of neat?
Sure.
Humble Narcissist Podcast, episode 8.
Is it really?
8.
Number 8?
Yeah, New Year's was 7, and now we're up to 8.
Well, Happy New Year's.
I'm using my new Christmas present, my mic holder.
Oh, there you go.
What do you think? You think it looks okay, or do you think that it looks terrible?
I don't know. It looks like a mic holder.
Well, I don't know. I'm just worried that maybe it's going to block my face, but that's why I'm kind of trying to do that. Shut up. I have a beautiful face, Dylan.
Bring in the new year, hide your face.
So what have you been up to?
Not much, just work.
That's super exciting. Did you do anything
I don't
else?
live a very exciting life.
You going out with like your family,
No.
friends, doing stuff?
Not really.
That's super exciting.
I know.
You have so much to live for.
I really do.
We're not taking it down that dark path again like we always do.
Well, why don't we go back a couple decades?
Well, we're going to get to that because today we're going to be talking about the 90s. Woo! We were just wee little children, so we don't really remember too much from it.
No.
But when I was looking things up,
It kind of jogged your memory. I know.
It jogged my memory. I remembered a lot of the fun movies, TV shows, things like that.
Remember Rugrats and it had the orange VHS tape?
Yes! Oh my gosh. And then, speaking of Rugrats, one of my favorites was when they came out with the movie and, Angelica was singing One Way or
Blondie song?
Another.
Yes.
That was one of my favorites from childhood.
I love the Rugrats.
The Rugrats was great. You had Lil and Phil and their lesbian mom.
Yeah.
With their dad.
They were progressive.
They were very progressive. And then when they remade it, just in recent years, they actually legit made her a lesbian.
Good.
I saw that on Paramount Plus, and that kind of...
Because it's just like Sailor Moon making them cousins. So...
Speaking of the 90s, when Sailor Moon came out and it hit the U.S., the anime, they didn't want children to know that lesbians existed.
No, you could only be a pretty newscaster or a beautiful teacher.
It cracked me up when she would transform and she would sit there and every time she would say, "Make me a beautiful writer." Why can't you just be a writer, girl? Why you gotta be beautiful?
Because she's not.
I beg to differ. She is the essence of woman because she is Sailor Moon and she is the pretty guardian.
Better watch out, she a minor.
She's been out since the 90s. She's like freaking Ash Ketchum. Speaking of another show from the 90s, Pokemon came out in the US in 1997. I Googled that today to make sure that I was right. Oh well, that one was my jam. But let's see. So Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune, they made cousins. Kissing cousins, which made it it was so obvious.
Well,
too.
yeah, because Uranus was or is it Uranus? I don't know.
Uranus. They say Uranus to try to make it less sexual, I guess.
But she was like a race car driver, and
she was a dude.
I know. Well, they thought she was a dude.
Well, she was the definition of
But it's just it's like the brothers or the ones who are named after all the jewels.
Oh, like Zionite and Zoisite and they were all homos too. But then when they redid that and did it as Crystal, they made them the lovers. Yeah, the brothers and lovers of the Sailor Scouts, which made no sense because they were clearly moes.
Exactly, but they hated each other.
God, Sailor Moon was such a good one, and I will always remember when you were rewatching it and you sent me the video of that
the
lady.
Vacuum monster.
Yes,
because
every time I think about it, go ahead.
It's because she was looking for Sailor Scouts. And she was a vacuum, so she's just started laughing and said ha ha ha, sometimes sucking pays off, and then ran off.
And you sent it to me and said story of my life, huh? I will always remember that. And then the weirdness of 90s TV shows, the weirdness of Sailor Moon with Chibi Moon, where she was in love with her dad. That was weird.
It was weird.
And then when she became they were very progressive. Dark Lady, that was her name.
Yes.
Dark Lady. And then she was kidnapped her dad to bang him. Like, it was weird. But I love Sailor Moon. And did you see that the new one's coming out where they're fighting the galaxy ones?
I saw that.
I've seen all the clips because I guess it's out in some countries already. And I'm like, I can't wait. I love Sailor Moon.
It's my childhood. I love the theme song.
Yes. The fighting evil by... We're going to get sued if I sing the whole thing.
Yeah, you will.
But
that's just because you suck at singing.
Shut up, Dylan. I want you to know that the other day, Corey and I were driving, and I was joking, and I said, well, you know, if comedy doesn't work out for me, I guess I could just go into singing. And he goes, no. And I go, you can't even entertain it for a second. And he's like, oh, honey, I promise not to lie to you, and you can be funny, but a singer, you are not.
Yeah.
So
really are not.
I'm going to have to prove him wrong and share it
Maybe
up.
like Jigglypuff.
I could always do the Jigglypuff as a kid. I could come out with the new version of Purple Hippopotamus.
Oh my god.
But more shows from the 90s from our childhood. Pokemon.
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon Ball Z, I
grew up on Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, and Digimon.
Dragon Ball Z, I loved for a little bit, but then I got so tired of the fact that they would spend a whole episode just powering up.
Well, yeah. It's called filler.
It's just him going, ah! And then, like, with the Spirit Bomb, like 5 episodes of just him standing there going, oh! Anyways, speaking of Dragon Ball Z, my favorite character in that was always Majin Buu because he turned people into cookies and ate them.
Because he was fat.
He's what I wanted to be.
Versions of Boo.
You have the kid Boo, you had the fat Boo, which was my favorite, and then you had like the real weird muscular one. I didn't care for any of them, but the fat one. The fat one was the good one.
I stopped watching Dragon Ball Z probably in the 90s.
I did too, in the 90s, for the exact reason. I could not stand a whole episode of just powering up. At least Sailor Moon, shit went down every episode.
Well, yeah, she became a pretty newscaster.
Pretty newscaster, pretty teacher.
But she was never sexy. Because she couldn't be.
And she don't need a man to always save her.
Yeah, she does. Tuxedo Mask.
He just throws a rose and leaves.
I remember the actual, like, the Sailor Moon movie?
Yes.
With the 2 aliens that came.
And the one that's like, you took my flower. Like, because he and Tuxedo Mask were like gay lovers.
Yes.
Yes, I remember that. I remember that very well.
Great times.
Let's talk about Pokemon, because that's the big one for my childhood.
Okay.
Which... I loved the show. I loved Misty. I actually just watched the Pokemon Concierge on Netflix, and it was really cute.
What's that?
It's short little 15-minute episodes. There's only 4 episodes. It was phenomenal. I loved it. I think you'll like it. The Psyduck is in it, and it cracked me up because I had to reminisce with Corey for a second, because I go, oh my God, they're talking about how when it has the headaches, it has the psychic powers. And I was like... That's what Misty would do to win fights, is she would like throw stuff at him to give him a headache. And Corey's like, that's mean. I was like, it's not that mean. The worst she ever did was she threw her bike at him. But she won because he got the headache.
Right.
I loved that series. And then like the video games, when those came out in the early 90s, Red and Blue, that was a big one. Which one were you, Red or Blue?
I didn't have either. I was poor at the time. I think I started playing Crystal.
You didn't start playing Pokemon till Crystal?
Nope.
Oh, Dylan, that's upsetting.
I know.
You should go back and play Red and Blue.
I played them before, I think. I know I played Yellow, because that's the one where Pikachu follows you.
Pikachu follows you around. So then, who was your very first starter Pokemon? Was it Chikorita then?
Yeah.
Oh, that's upsetting. You should have been able to pick from the original 3, Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur.
I would always choose Bulbasaur if I had the choice.
I know. We always know who I'm picking for those 3. Squirtle all the way, man.
Oh, yeah. I always go for Bulbasaur.
But that was my game. I loved it. I loved all the little side stuff. Like, you could go catch Mew, which was just M. You had to go talk to the guy that taught you how to... catch Pokemon, and then you'd go to an island and just surf up and down the coast, and you could run into Pokemon that were 255.
Oh, damn.
But as soon as you catch them, they'd go to level 100.
Oh.
But what you would do is you could use it to multiply items as well, so you would use it to multiply the Master Ball, so you just go boop.
Oh, nice.
Then you catch yourself all of the all of these monsters or Pokemon super easy.
Yeah, I've never played. I don't remember that.
Oh God, because if you played on Yellow, they took that out because it was a flaw.
Gotcha.
But God, Pokemon was the best.
Yeah, it was. I'm glad it's kind of like evolved over time.
Oh yeah, there's over 1,000 now.
I know.
I can confidently, we could do a whole episode on this. I could confidently feel like I could name about 900 of the 1,000.
See, my favorite Pokemon movie was the first movie. That probably came out in early 2000s, didn't it?
I think it was.
Or
no,
was
it had to come out a little bit before.
Yeah, because the Lugia one was Pokemon 2000.
Yeah, Pokemon 2000. The very first one was super sad, though.
It was great. And did you see they remade it on Netflix? And
yes, I haven't watched it.
It makes me sad because the voice actors aren't the same.
They're not the same?
No, different voice actor for Misty, different voice actor for Ash. Did you collect anything, or did you have anything as a 90s kid? Because I know like Furbies and Tamagotchis.
Oh God, Furbies always creeped me out as a kid.
They were creepy because you had to finger them to feed.
You had to finger them, and then you also, like, in the middle of the night, they would start talking. And it would creep me out. So, like, I took the batteries out so I'd never touched my Furby again because my mom and dad got me one.
Did it come back to life?
No, thank God.
McDonald's used to give them out.
They gave them out, but they were so freaking creepy, and they've remade them, too. So now there's new Furbies.
Yes.
But, like, the Tamagotchis, those things, like, I used to have, like, you remember, like, kids would have, like, 5 or 6 at a time.
I had one, and I couldn't take it home. So I had
Why couldn't you take it home?
I don't remember, but I left it at the picnic bench in, like, a little hole when I lived in the apartments.
That is so weird. Why wouldn't you just take it home?
I don't know, but
it had to have died. All the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you miss, like, one feeding, they're dead.
Exactly.
If you don't, like, put them to bed, they're dead. They would just constantly die. I had, like, a Digimon one. I had, like, the regular Tamagotchis. I couldn't keep any of them alive, but I did have, like, 5 on a keychain at once.
And that's why you're not a parent.
Well, I mean, probably. But I feel like if you don't feed your kid once, they're still alive. I hated Furbies. I hated them.
They were creepy.
And then, do you remember when Weird Al came out with that, like, the demonic Furby phone call?
Yes.
I loved that.
That was funny.
Furby is so weird.
What about Beanie Babies? They were a big thing, too.
Of course I had Beanie Babies. So this is how gay I am. As a kid, I had 5 different Beanie Babies, and I would pretend that they were the Spice Girls and, like, have them, like, dance and stuff. So I did it in secrecy. Like, I would do it in my room with the door shut. So, but I mean, if anybody saw that, they would have known right away I was a homosexual.
I have a question.
What?
Why was your dad surprised?
He never saw me do that, Dylan. He just saw how manly I am.
Oh, totally.
I am butch. I'm just like Sailor Uranus. But so I had the Beanie Babies. I had a shit ton of Beanie Babies. And then, like, you remember how everybody would always say how they were going to be worth all this money?
No, they're not.
No, they were never worth any money.
Oh, absolutely not. I collected the shit out of them. And then I remember at one
of
the
McDonald's exclusives.
Yes.
Had those.
I remember one time I won a bald eagle Beanie Baby at one of my Boy Scout things, and my grandmother took it and never gave it to me.
Oh, how did
because she said I'd ruin it.
How'd you win it?
It was a raffle.
Sure it was.
It was.
It was probably given out for best boy.
No.
From the Boy Scout Master.
No, you're going to get us attacked by the Boy Scouts. Stop it. But no, I won it in a raffle, and I picked it because I wanted the Beanie Baby because I was collecting them. But then she took it with her and wouldn't let me have it because I would ruin it.
That's so rude. That's your toy, damn it. Does she still have it?
No, she gave it to us when they moved.
Oh. So you didn't even get it till you were like 20-something.
Exactly. Now my mom has it, I think. I don't have any of my old Beanie Babies anymore. I got rid of that shit when I grew up.
Well, I got rid of all of mine too, but still, she just kept that shit till you were like
I collected
20s.
those, and I collected like the little Pokemon toys.
Ooh, I collected all the Pokemon cards.
I wasn't a big Pokemon card person.
Well, me and Amanda, my sister, we collected all the Pokemon cards, and then she split them up, and I think that she still has my Alakazam, which annoys me. But I did get the original Blastoise, and I wish I could find it. I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere in this house.
My brother got the original Charizard holographic one.
Was it the first edition, though?
Uh-huh.
Then what did he do with it?
Fuck if I know. He lost it or some shit, because that could have made some money.
Well, they're $200,000.
I know.
I would need proof that he actually had that.
He did have it.
Because only like 20 were ever made.
But yeah. So, what else 90s wise? Music, I guess?
Well, since we're talking about
Christina.
Britney or Christina?
Yes, because you knew if you were Britney Spears, then you were also NSYNC. If you're Christina, then you're also Backstreet Boys.
Well, I didn't like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, but I loved both of Christina and Britney.
But that's how I remember growing up. That's how it was. There was that line drawn in the sand. You were either Britney or Christina.
I loved them both. I loved Genie in a Bottle. I loved Hit Me Baby One More Time.
See, I was more of a Britney fan because I did Britney and NSYNC.
I did not like when Christina did like the whole like dirty thing.
Phase? Yeah,
I didn't like that. But
well, Christina's dirty phase and Britney's shave head phase, they're about the same. They were going around the same time too.
They were going around the same time. But like, I'd lean more towards Britney, because Christina, I can only remember like a couple of her songs, but Britney I can remember like an album's
they're bangers.
Worth. They're always bangers.
They are.
And then poor thing went crazy because of what we did to her.
Yes.
So, but like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, I never cared for either.
Like, I never cared for the Backstreet Boys. I thought they were stupid. Well, but like, I listened to them sing music.
Music wise, though, like I remember in the '90s, they came out. Ace of Base did "I Saw the Sign." That was my jam. That was my jam. Spice Girls came out in the '90s. They were the big ones. Back to Me playing with Beanie Babies, pretending that they're the Spice Girls. Did you ever watch Spice World as a kid?
Nope.
Oh my God, my mom bought me that.
I watched Power Rangers when my mom wasn't around. I wasn't allowed to watch Power Rangers.
Why weren't you allowed to watch the Power Rangers?
Because they fought.
So? You and your brother fought all the time.
I know.
They could have at least taught you how to defend yourself.
Right.
But, oh my God, Spice Girls was my favorite. And they're still, to this day, like one of the #1 selling girl groups ever. And I want them to stop like cock teasing us and being like, are we going to go on a reunion tour or not?
If they are, it's not going to be with Posh.
I don't care. I don't need that hell there. I am okay with all the other ladies. I just want to go see the Spice Girls. And it makes me so mad when they do like the occasional get-togethers, but it's always over in like the UK. And
I'm like, why the fuck would they fly over?
Because they have fans here. They have young homosexual fans that used to sit in the bathrooms playing with their Beanie Babies, pretending that they were the Spice Girls.
What else 90s wise?
Well, we can talk about video games.
Yeah.
Any game, because we were talking about Pokemon, but like one of the games that came out that was a big thing for me as a kid was Final Fantasy VII.
See, for me, I didn't really get into it till 8.
Well, God, Dylan. So then 1998.
Exactly.
So, like, 7 was a big one for me because that was when my family first had the PlayStation. And then my sister Amanda and her friend would play 7 and they wouldn't let me play. So it just kind of, as a kid growing up, made me want to play it more. So whenever they would leave, I'd go play the PlayStation. And then I learned that they sucked at video games because they couldn't even figure out how to switch the equipment on the characters on 7. So I played and I ended up switching everything around, and then they started doing better, and those morons couldn't figure out that they had different equipment on. But that's how I found Yuffie in the forest on 7, side character that you can skip, and I got her, and that's why she's always been my favorite.
Well, good.
And then that also started me on my journey of Final Fantasy, because now I always play that game.
Well, yeah, because it's fun.
And then you started with 8, which is very controversial because a lot of people say that that one sucked.
I liked 8. It was the first one because it was when I got a PlayStation for me and my brother for Christmas. Also the same year I found out Santa Claus wasn't real.
Which was 98. And then I found out Santa wasn't real on 2000.
I know, we talked about this last time.
I
Two
know,
times
but
ago.
now that we're talking about Final Fantasy, I can do the timeline.
But yeah, because it was a demo. It had Final Fantasy VIII, it had Ape Escape, and had something else. And so that was a demo where you had to like fight Leviathan. Or no, she had Leviathan.
She had Leviathan. You had to do the seed mission.
Yes.
Which is like the secret assassination group that we're gonna kill sorceresses. But 8, I liked 8 because I think 8 has arguably like the best mini game ever, which is the card game.
Triple Triad,
which I loved, but like I hated what. As soon as you got the random rule, I was
you were
bored
out.
of it. Yeah, I hated it. But I still get every single card every time I play that game. But like 1999, arguably one of the best Final Fantasies of all time came out. 9, which is my all-time favorite. Isn't it nice when they come
out within a year instead of like 20 years?
Yes, it is, Dylan. Like how they spent like 10 years coming up with freaking 14, and 14 sucked, in my opinion. Or no, it was 15. 15, sorry.
Yeah, 15 wasn't that good.
14 is just very stagnant.
9 is also a really good game.
9 is a really good game. We could do a whole episode on this as well.
Just Final Fantasy. I know.
We could just talk Final Fantasy. But 9 has arguably like my favorite character of all time, which is Quina. Quina and Yuffie are the two best. But like video games growing up, it really shaped us. Like Donkey Kong.
Yes, I remember playing
the
Donkey
N64
Kong
came out.
Well, I didn't play it on the N64. I played it on the old ass Sega thing.
Yeah, well, the regular Nintendo, because it was never on Sega.
Whatever. Is that old Sega thing where you had to God dang it, the old Nintendo thing where you had to like blow into the cartridges.
Yes,
and put it in.
So
I played Donkey Kong and Zelda.
Donkey Kong for N64 was always my favorite. Because I got to play Tiny Kong. Do you remember that? Where you would run around and like they'd all get weapons, and like Lanky would shoot his little like grape shooter.
I never really played that Donkey Kong.
Oh my god!
I never had a Nintendo 64 though.
Super Mario World. Had to have played that on the Super Nintendo?
Yes,
that one was fun.
But I played Donkey Kong on the Super Nintendo.
So you played Donkey Kong Country?
Yes, that one was fun.
I like Donkey Kong Country. There's like 4 or 5 of them.
You could ride on the animals and stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
I always liked getting the ostrich.
I grew up playing Croc on PlayStation.
Now, I've never played Croc.
Croc and Spyro.
Spyro was fun. They remastered Spyro and released that. Did you play that at all?
Not the remastered one, no.
Wow. That's really upsetting.
I'm sorry.
Would you like to borrow it? I have it.
Maybe. What's it on?
PS4.
Oh, maybe.
You can put it in the PS5. And
I know that.
I don't know what you know, because half the time you don't know nothing. Crash Bandicoot had the best racing game. And I know a lot of people prefer like Mario Kart in the 90s, but Crash Team Racing was my favorite.
Was Mario Kart in the 90s?
In 64.
I thought it was like early 2000.
It was probably like 99.
And 64 was like, which it had to have been 98, 99. Because I think 2000 I moved out to Greenfield. And I remember a friend of mine had the N64 before I moved to Greenfield.
Well, I still have the N64 at my mother's house. As long as she hasn't thrown it away, which we know she hasn't.
No, it's next to the dead cat skeleton.
Shut up, hoarders. Every house has one. What? We had Scooby-Doo.
What was your favorite Scooby-Doo movie? Mine was Zombie Island.
Are we talking about the cartoon one?
Yeah, not the live action. That wasn't in the 90s.
I know. I liked the, what was it, where they go to like the girls' school?
Mine was always the Zombie Island. It had such a good song.
A lot of them had good songs.
That Terror Time Again. I get it stuck in my head and I sit and sing it sometimes.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, I want to talk about other TV shows and movies from the 90s.
Sounds like a plan.
And we're back.
So more 90s TV shows.
I want to talk about Friends. I've never watched it.
Because you don't have any.
I have one, and that's all I need. It's you and me, little buddy.
Oh, okay.
You're my one friend.
That's unfortunate.
You love that show.
It was. I grew up watching it.
I mean, we got some of like the best actors out of it. Like I love Jennifer Aniston as an actress, though I feel like she
The
plays
sad
the
thing
same
is,
person.
I think she does better with TV than she does with movies.
Like The Morning Show.
The Morning Show was good.
Not 90s, but I love her in that. But like with Friends, you also got Lisa Kudrow, which
Yes.
I love her. I wish that she was in more stuff.
Courtney Cox, you got Scream.
Oh yeah, Scream came out in the 90s too. That was a good one. That was back when Rose McGowan ran and she got stuck in the garage door.
There were some really good people in Scream too. I know we're getting off topic.
I mean, it's all kind of connected because you have what's her face, Courtney Cox with Scream.
Yeah.
Scream was a lot of fun. You also had I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes.
That was good with my girl Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Which she was also in Scream.
Was she in Scream?
Yeah, I think Scream. I think it was 2. It was either 2 or 3 is when Sydney goes to college.
Oh.
3 was Parker Posey, so it has to have been 2.
Parker Posey was in one?
Yeah, she was in Scream 3.
Oh God! Now I feel like I need to rewatch some of the Screams.
I know you do.
Maybe
they were good.
Maybe we should do a horror episode and just like
a horror episode. That's all you are.
Dylan, I'm a married man. I don't have to be a whore anymore. One of us still goes around with Johns.
I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Truth.
I don't have any Johns.
Oh.
I don't even know any Johns.
Because you have no friends.
I know.
But, like, Scream was fun. You have where Sydney's boyfriend is, like, secretly gay and, like, in love with his friend, and they're running around killing each other. Like, I don't care what anybody says. It was a pretty gay story. We're going to rainbow wash this. And then Rose McGowan was fun.
Yeah.
She played bitch real well. She always does.
The sad thing was Sarah Michelle Gellar was, like, the standout of Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, and she died in both.
Well, I Know What You Did Last Summer. She was one of the main girls.
I know.
Was she the one that died in the store, or no? Yeah, she died in the store because she didn't die the night where she was crowned like Miss Fishing.
No, whatever. That's when her boyfriend died,
Miss
right?
Fish. Yeah, because he died then.
Because that was Ryan Phillippe, wasn't it?
Yes, and do you remember Scary Movie when they came? Yes. Like, those were great parodies where they come out and she's like, "Oh my God, Greg, look out! The killer's behind you!" And he's like, "Huh?" And she's like, "Somebody help him!" And then they're like, "And the winner is Buffy." Yes. And that girl's like, "We gotta help Greg!" And she's like, "Fuck Greg, I won!" That would be me. But I love those. When did Scary Movie come out?
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s. We'll save more discussion on that in our 2000s episode then.
What Cruel Intentions, was that?
I think that was the 90s. Because you got Bittersweet Symphony, and that was just a weird movie. Like, looking back, it was weird. Because, like, she wanted to bang her stepbrother, and that's weird to me.
Right. You have Selma Blair.
Oh, my God. Though I do love that scene at the end where she comes out and, like, it's his journal printed out. That was phenomenal. And then Sarah Michelle Gellar is just like, and like grabs her cross and is like,
exactly.
Because, you know, the more drugs you do, the closer to Jesus you get, kids. Not kids.
That's when you describe that movie, it makes me think of those, like, you remember the like 30-second videos of the
bunnies. Yes, old school internet.
No, get away. AOL sitting there for the dial-up.
Oh my God, I remember that. That was freaking awful. And then, like, you had to, like, only at certain times could you get on at night and it'd be free, otherwise they charge you.
Yes.
You've got mail. God. Early days of the internet, this generation will never know the struggle, the real struggle. And then, like, you only have the one computer in the house, and I remember when I first started playing on the computer and Mom and Dad got one, and they did this cute little like mouse game where like you could paint and all this stuff, and it was for us kids. And then there was also the fun games where you could do like the Wheel of Fortune and all of that.
Monopoly.
Yes.
Life, yeah.
It wasn't until I was a teenager that I used the computer for the real purpose. The family computer that everybody uses. God. Thank God for cell phones.
Right? Technology, they've come a long way.
Let's talk movies.
Okay.
Because some of, like, other than, like, the horror movies, like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, a big one that came out for us as kids was Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
That was a big one because everybody loves dinosaurs.
Did you like it?
I really like Jurassic Park. I like the first one. Once it like started going on and on, like I don't like the new ones. I think that they're very boring. But like the original, I will always remember the big guy from Seinfeld running away, and then like he looks over and there's that
And
one
it
that
spits in his face.
Yes.
Yes.
For weeks, I was scared that there was going to be some random thing sitting in the car to spit at me when I turned my head. I was petrified. That, and then the guy that died while he was on the toilet. Where the dinosaur's like, run, goes, bah. I remember that as well. But I liked Jurassic Park. I thought that it was a really good movie.
It wasn't bad. I mean, I liked the first one. And they've kind of got, like, they would be okay and then they would not be okay.
Right. Like, the first two were okay. Is there, like, a 90s movie that really sticks out to you?
I've been trying to think. I've been trying to rack my brain. Was The Mummy the 90s? That one with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz?
I don't know.
I don't know if it was, like, late 90s, like 2000.
You really like horror, it would appear. You keep, like... liking these like killer stuff.
Well, the reason I think about that is because of the scarabs.
Because you want to kill everybody?
No, after I watched it at my grandparents', I always thought the scarabs were going to come out of the ground and get me.
I mean, they still could, Dylan.
I know.
They still could.
But it's okay. I welcome it now.
You're already dead on the inside.
I'm old and smart.
Toy Story came out in the 90s.
Story did, yeah.
Which, that was fun. I always wish that my Beanie Babies would come to life, like... and be the Spice Girls for me.
My very first movie I ever watched in theaters was The Lion King.
Now see, that's a good 90s movie, and then they had to ruin it by remaking it into a live action.
Right? A Bug's Life was good too. I remember going to see A Bug's Life with my brother, my mom, and some dude she worked with. I think it was a date.
Any other really good movies that you can think of that came out in the 90s? Because Titanic, I think, was 99, wasn't it?
Titanic was. Because I remember my mom going to Best Buy during Black Friday, having to stand in line to get the double VHS tape.
And God, I remember Titanic, and I was so devastated when I learned that they weren't like real people that were on there.
I mean, most of them were real, just not the main characters.
Yeah, that was devastating. But like, I gotta tell you, if I were on the Titanic and it was going down, I would be that asshole that would like be
steal a kid, dress up as a woman, be like, oh, I need to get on there because I don't want to die. A Christian person's nightmare.
Well, who cares? I am a Christian survival. Exactly. Like, who cares if I'm not a woman or a child? I deserve to live too. I've been here longer than that dumb kid.
Any favorite movies, like movie actors or actresses from the 90s?
Ooh. Drew Barrymore.
Okay.
She's always been my favorite.
Julia Roberts.
I never liked her. I think she's too pompous.
I could see that. But like I liked her in like My Best Friend's Wedding, Steel Magnolias, but that's because she died.
Just like how you like Gwyneth Paltrow in that one movie.
Juice, Shelby.
Shelby, drink your juice. God.
That was a sad movie.
It was a sad movie. What are some other great actors that came out of that?
Dolly acted a lot in the 90s.
Oh, I was going to say, 90s. I was about ready to be like, bitch, she was around long before the 90s.
I'm trying to think what else.
We're just naming actresses. What about an actor that came out of the 90s?
I never... There weren't really any... that sounds terrible. I mean, like Brad Pitt, but he was I didn't think he was that good of an actor. That's why I thought I was...
Maybe this is why we're homosexual, because we can name the girls that we really like, but when it comes to men, it's like,
Like, Brad Pitt was perfect with Angelina because I didn't think Angelina could act.
True.
So I thought they were just perfect for each other.
But, like... Even when it comes to like musicians and stuff, I can tell you.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That is something I forgot about, and that is not depressing, you bastard. You keep talking about how depressing and shit I am.
Oh, well, Sabrina was a lot of fun. That was a cute show. And then I loved,
Caroline Ray.
Yes. I'm ready for her to have, like, a real comeback because she is such a phenomenal stand-up comic. And, like, okay, so back to us being homosexuals, and that's why we can, like, name all of the women but none of the men. Same thing with me when it comes to, like, comedians. I can tell you my favorite females' jokes and things like that, and my favorite female comics. I don't really pay any attention to the men.
It's because they get canceled for being child molesters.
That was
Cordelia.
Oh yeah, allegedly, or was that proven?
He was canceled. Yeah.
Oh, well,
Sorry.
And now Matt Rife, I guess, he's fighting with people. Oh well. But
anyways,
great ladies. Kathy Griffin came out of the 90s. Yeah. That's one of my favorites. She was doing a lot like Suddenly Susan and things like that. The Drew Carey Show.
Yes, I remember the Drew Carey Show.
Mimi was my favorite. Again, homosexual.
No, never.
I loved, maybe that's why I like drag queens so much, because I loved Mimi too. And she always had like drag makeup on, the real heavy eyes. And
The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
Homer, I can name him as a male actor.
Who plays Homer?
I don't fucking know.
South Park came out.
Hank Azaria, who played a bunch of voices on The Simpsons, was on Friends.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
You're like, no.
But, like, South Park, that came out. I prefer South Park over The Simpsons. And that's because I feel like South Park always goes
was Futurama more early 2000s?
Early 2000s for Futurama.
Okay.
Same thing with,
Smurfs.
Oh, God.
Did you ever watch
that was,
the
like,
Smurfs?
the 80s.
Was it? I don't know. Gargamel always reminds me of your brother.
Shit, he does. He looks like him.
And now Gargamel has a cat, and you know how Richard likes the cats at Jenny's.
That's true.
That's what just made me think of.
I want you to know that I'm going to leave that in here, knowing that he'll never see this.
I know.
Oh gosh, more stuff from the 90s. Ooh, you ready for this big event that happened in the 90s?
Yeah.
The O.J. Simpson trial.
You know, I don't remember any of it growing up.
I don't remember it growing up, but since I've seen so much stuff about it now,
like, if the glove doesn't fit,
you must acquit. And that is going to be my rule when I commit a murder. And like,
please tell me you're gonna do one of those things. Yeah, if I kill my child, this is how I did it.
And it's exactly how they died.
Exactly.
That's his confession, and we can't do anything about it anymore. And then, like, they put him in jail for, what was it, like, tax fraud?
Yeah.
We couldn't get you for killing her, but, like, we'll get you for this.
I don't remember anything about the O.J. Simpson trial. I was sheltered, apparently.
I mean, you weren't allowed to watch Power Rangers.
I know.
And you also weren't allowed to have pop, which is why you would always come over to my house and drink a shit ton of pop.
But that's probably because my mom was poor.
No, she said that it was because she didn't want you to have caffeine or sugars too much at night.
I mean, do you blame her?
No, you've always been fine.
I know.
You still passed out at my house just fine,
exactly.
Dylan. What else do you want to talk about from the 90s, Dylan?
Is there really much? I'm sure there is. I just can't think of it.
I know. Maybe it would have been better if we did 2000s, because like we
actually lived that.
Yeah, and we remember that more.
Well, before we've
also been talking about doing a 90s thing where we just talked about whatever for like 2 episodes now. So it was about time we did it.
True.
Stupid holidays.
But before we end this one, why don't we talk about where were you on Y2K going into the 2000s? Do you remember?
Was I with you?
No, we didn't know each other.
I must have just been at home.
I remember I was at my you don't like.
I remember everybody's
irrational fear
that everything was going to end.
Yes.
Don't tell me you were like hiding in the basement or something.
No.
I think I was just sitting at the family computer and watching Mom and Dad watch the ball drop.
Wait to see if like the internet was going to go out.
I was just playing my games.
I was at my grandparents. We would all, like growing up, we would do a New Year's Eve party, have a whole bunch of appetizers and stuff like that. We just watched the ball drop. I just remember having that stupid irrational fear that the world was ending.
Well, I mean, you haven't always been the smartest.
10.
Well, I mean, this is explaining a lot as to like why you believe everything.
Hey, I also had that irrational fear about 2012. That didn't happen either.
What was supposed to happen in 2012?
The world was supposed to end. It was the end of the Mayan calendar, wasn't it?
Oh, it was. Do you just think about the world ending all the time?
Only when I don't want to work.
So all the time. God, what is wrong with you?
I was just trying to find a cool way to end it, since technically that's ending the 90s.
Is ending the 90s, but like...
Well, I'm glad you shamed me for that.
I love shaming you. That's what a good friend does. Like, Corey sat there and he told me that he doesn't understand, like, he and his friends don't like to make fun of each other. And I'm just like,
why?
Yeah, that's friendship. Like, nobody can give you shit like a friend. Like, come on.
Exactly.
But early, like, the Y2K, I'm pretty sure I just was sitting there playing video games and mom and dad watched the ball drop like they did every year. Mm-hmm. But, like, I don't know. I feel like that's probably why even to this day, all I want to do is sit at home and watch the ball drop. I don't want to go out and party or anything. We used to just get together and celebrate your birthday.
Yeah.
But now I don't really... I didn't have that fear that the world was going to end.
I don't know. It was just irrational. It was nothing... Like, I didn't really think it would. But there's always that possibility.
To be fair, and I say this with love, a lot of members in your family I could see believing conspiracy theories.
No.
So I think that may have rubbed off on you.
No, never.
Not them.
Well,
on that note, thanks for tuning in. If there's any subjects that you would like us to discuss, feel free to let us know.
Yeah, if not, then we'll just talk about whatever the hell we want.
Mm-hmm. Like, follow, subscribe. I need more subscribers so that I can keep doing this, and therefore, we can keep doing this.
Leave us a comment on Apple Podcasts. Let us know how we're doing.
Let us know. You have a wonderful day, and I'm going to say it because it's a new year, even though I know Dylan hates it. Stay humble.
So cringe. So cringe.